Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers podcast. It's been a while, but we are back. Sorry we haven't had any videos out or any podcasts out for a while. I know Luke put a couple of just little quick videos up. Loads and loads of stuff's been going on. I've been really busy, haven't had much free time. Luke's been moving, so trying to get his internet sorted. So yeah, there's been loads of stuff going on, but we are back. Just in time for the end of the season, but still, there we go. Joined as always by Luke. How's it going, mate? Nice to be back.
Yeah, it is good, mate. And like I say, the ag that I've gone through to get the internet sorted for this house, like it's been like 6 weeks or whatever it was since we did that great show with Gonzo a few weeks back. But yeah, it's great to be back. Like I say, fortunately it falls at the end of the season, but at the moment, mate, we've probably hit one of the best weeks to come back.
Yeah.
There's loads of news going on. We can talk about the season as a whole, and obviously start looking forward to the World Cup really as well, which is going to be, we'll probably be covering that weekly as a podcast as well. I don't know, mate, where would you prefer to start? Would you prefer to start with the news this week or do our season review?
Well, I mean, it all kind of sort of rolls into one, doesn't it? Obviously, big news is Moyes' contract finished. Moyes is gone. Yep. West Ham are currently without a manager. I suppose if you kind of wrapped up the season as a whole, he did what he was asked to do, which was keep us up. It's really strange because I was talking to our good friend Dan, and basically saying like I've never felt so ambivalent about a managerial decision. Like I wouldn't have been gutted if he'd have stayed. I don't really care that he's gone. It's a very sort of meh. Do you know what I mean? It's a very strange one at the minute.
Yeah, it is a funny one. Obviously, all the other West Ham fan channels and a lot of people on Twitter asking the same sort of questions. So I will recycle it a little bit if you have seen their contact, guys, when you're watching. They say, like, how will Moyes be remembered? And I think we will go on record and say he done what he had to do. Thanks a lot, but you're not what we need now. You're not what the club needs in terms of that step forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting one actually. How will Moyes be remembered? Because he probably won't be, to be honest. And this is going to be one where in years' time, so say even 5 years down the line, we'll probably be looking back and be saying, oh, do you remember David Moyes was manager of West Ham? I forgot about that. It's going to be that kind of thing. He didn't really make any real impact. I was pleased with what he'd done when he came in. I do think a change needed to be made, and he came in and I think he did well with regards to fitness and getting the team actually playing, because it looked like they'd stopped playing under Bilic.
Yeah, he got Arnie playing, and you've got to give him credit, mate. I will give him some real credit here. He got Rice. He put Rice in that team, and he trusted him, Rice. You know, maybe he young him out to dry that one game, that Arsenal game, but you got to give it to him. He's brought him on as a player, and you've got I liked his backroom team. Pierce and Irvine, they seem to be doing a good job. I know a lot of fans started getting unhappy. This is one thing I will say. I saw a massive amounts of criticism online about Moyes' boring football and defensive-minded football. I'm going to just say it. I didn't see it. I don't think we were set up particularly defensive. I think some of the games, like I was listening to the X podcast. They were saying that some of the games, like the Stoke game, he said sticks out, and there's a few of those games where we didn't go for it. You know, like.
Am I right in thinking though that Stoke game where people say we didn't go for it? We had something ridiculous like 18 shots and 11 on target. Like,
I know pressure was off. Everton game, fantastic performance. You know, attacking, lovely flowing football like your Marios, your Lanzinis, your Arnies. Lovely little triangles going on, touch and goes. I did see that a few times this season. I did see that.
I mean, you've got to remember as well, his brief was to keep us up. That was it. As far as he's concerned, that was his job. That's how he gets paid his bonus. So he's going to be more pragmatic. I think it does. I mean, it's irrelevant now anyway. But I think if he had been given another chance, I think if he had been kept on and given a full season,
I think we would have seen more of that kind of football with the
I think weren't
pressure
backed in the
off.
transfer window either.
No.
In January.
Oh no, big time. A lot of people have been saying, this is another thing I've seen as well. Like I'm gonna come across like I'm really defending Moyes, and to be fair, I probably am, because I don't think he did anywhere near as bad a job as people saying he did. Like I say, I'm not fussed that he's gone, because, you know, was he the man to really take us to that next level? Who knows? It's irrelevant now. But like I don't know. People saying about, in the transfer window he bought in Evra and Hugill. How can he be trusted with a full window? Well, first of all, do you really think they were his signings? Second, do you think he had much of a choice? I mean, the likes of Hugill, I don't see how that could be a Moyes signing when he never played him.
I think Evra possibly was. I think that may have been, you know, from the Man United link that potentially was talker. Mario, I don't know whether that was a Moyes signing or not. Turned out to be quite a good player, I thought, in the end. It doesn't look like he's going to stay, which is a shame. But as well, again, it's going to look like we're defending him. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. Winston Reid, Mikel Antonio. You had the Masuaku out for 6 weeks. Lanzini was out for a lot of the season.
Antonio.
Carroll. Yeah, Antonio. A lot of injuries.
Reid, Collins, like half our defence.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, I wish, it's a shame we ain't been able to do the podcast for the last few weeks, because I would have loved to have been making these points back then, so it doesn't look like I'm just saying now we won, now we got some points from the last few games. But what choices did he have? A lot of people again saying, we're setting up 5 at the back against teams we should be going out against. What choice did he have? Like, the players that he had available, I don't think he had much choice. And as well, this is one more thing I want to say that really bugged me over the last, it's been going on for months now. People keep saying, we're setting up without a striker. We're not setting up without a striker. Arnautovic is a striker. You know, whatever his position says on FIFA, he is a striker. It's not like we've been playing a false nine.
That's where he's been used this year. And in fairness, one thing I will give to Moyes, maybe he has found that is the position that works for Arnie.
I was seeing stats. He's numbers-wise, he's been our best striker for years, since Zamora sort of thing.
Mate, me and my dad say it all the time. There ain't many West Ham strikers that have hit more than 10 in the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
I remember Nolan hitting 10. He wasn't a striker.
Mm-hmm.
You probably got to go back to someone like Harewood.
Well, like I say, I think it was like Harewood, Zamora. It was that kind of.
Yeah, or Colton always used to only get 10.
It was a long time ago, mate. And and I mean, it's just that really wound me up about that. Kept getting thrown out there. We're not even lining up with a striker. We are. He was playing as a striker, but still. Anyway.
Criticisms, though? Can we have some criticism? I will give it a few.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I was going to say the biggest criticism for me is going to be one that I know that you would say, because you say it every week: substitutions. Far too late.
Yeah.
Far too late. I mean, that would be a big criticism. Not using Hernandez. I would have loved to have seen him more. But I'm going to be honest and say that I don't have that, me personally, I don't have that many criticisms of him. I think he did a good job with what he had available. Like I say, I'm not saying we should give him a 10-year contract and asked him to write, this is it, but I think he did a good job.
Dave said it, I think it was Dave or Kevin on the X podcast, saying that, listen, Day Moyes come in, mate. If you would have given me 17th, I would have snapped your hand off. And at the end of the day, his job was to get us safe. We was never going to qualify for Europe this year when he came in. Potentially, maybe could have gone for it a bit more in terms of the FA Cup game against Shrewsbury, which we lost. But is that his fault, or was that more player attitude? I don't know. But
player attitude as well. It's the board as well. Like, they probably, again, when you bring a manager in on a 6-month contract and you tell him his job is to keep you in the Premier League, of course he's not going to care about the cups. That's not what us as fans want to hear, but that's the reality of it. Do you know what I mean? That's the reality. And I do think some West Ham fans have massively overrated expectations. When there was talk, like reading the forums on Knees Up Mother Brown, when there was talk about should one of the big threads on there, should Moyes stay or should he go? there were people saying, "Oh well, if we keep him on, can he get us into Europe? Can he challenge and win a couple of cups?" That hasn't happened in my lifetime.
Yeah, mate. I know. Like, yeah, we all want to challenge for a cup. We all want to get in Europe. That's the dream. But like you say, mate, we've not won anything in our lifetime. We've got into an FA Cup final.
Yeah, I don't know.
Europe a couple of times.
And yes. And again, then people were rightly pointing out, well, then why did we move? 100% agree. 100% agree. But that's not Moyes' fault. He didn't move us into a new stadium. Do you know what I mean? That's down to the owners. And all, like, I think that we should be aiming for that next level. We should be aiming to challenge in the cups. We should be aiming for European qualification. But that's not going to happen without significant investment. And that's got nothing to do with the manager.
Yeah. I'm just going to go through a few of the games, mate, before we talk about the manager. Obviously, that's the big topic. Carrying on with the season review. Obviously, lost our first 3 games, mate, and that was sort of the start of everything, really. Those 3 away games, and I really hope we don't have that sort of scenario again. There's little rumours that it could be again, that sort of thing would happen because some athletics thing. I really hope that's not the case. But going through, mate, just before we started the show, again, this is more Slav and Moyes together. On 17 times we conceded more than 3 goals last year. You know, I'm listing off Saints, Newcastle, Brighton, Man United, Liverpool, Everton.
It's a shocking statistic.
Yeah, that's nearly half your season. You've conceded more than 3 goals. And it was only on one occasion, just looking at the stats here, it was a 3-3. That's the only time we actually got a point when we conceded 3 goals.
Yeah.
So it's hard, you know, and definitely a massive area we've got to look at in the transfer window. Defence, centre midfield. But again, we'll go through that for our hopes for next year in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to point out in terms of what a terrible season that was. I was looking through as well, probably the turning point of the whole season for us, mate, was the 1-0 win against Chelsea, which was massive. Then a draw against Arsenal, and then we beat Stoke 3-0. And at that point, we thought we was going to, you know, go up the table. But do you feel, as a whole, mate, the season is we were more lucky to stay up because of worse teams rather than we were good enough?
Yes, but then at the same time, there's going to be another 6 teams saying exactly the same thing. I mean, the difference now between the top 5-6 clubs and the rest of the league is massive. And when you look at the likes of, say, 8th down, 7th down, there's not a lot of difference. There's not a lot of difference.
I was watching Spencer FC's video, actually, his Premier League predictions. He says basically exactly the same as you just said there, mate. From 8th down, it's very hard to actually predict what position people are going to finish in.
Yeah.
Because we could have finished 10th on the last day,
yeah,
which is crazy in terms of the season we had. If we would have finished 10th on that last day, it would have been like, well, that's not bad, 10th.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the 10th every year.
Even like West Brom nearly saved themselves, and they look completely cut away. I mean, the gap, as I say, now the Premier League is basically split into 2 leagues. It really is. You've got the sort of top 6, 7, and then you've got everyone else. And within that everyone else, like you say, mate, anyone can end up anywhere. Is so close now because of all the Premier League money and all the rest of it. It's such an even playing field, taking out those big guys. And so, like I say, yeah. I mean, yes, I do consider us lucky because we were very, very close. We were lucky that there were teams below us. But then, as I say, there's going to be sort of 6, 7 other teams all saying the same thing. Maybe the points total needed to stay up now is going to drop. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it is going to drop. We'll see as the seasons go on.
Yeah. 13th in the end for us. Won 10 out of 38. Drew 12, lost 16, and minus 20 goal difference. Again, not the best of seasons. One game though, mate, I do just want to mention that sticks out through the whole of the season. And I think this will be probably the game that is remembered for the whole season. Is that Burnley game. that I did go to. For me, again, we'll talk a little bit more about the board and what they've got to do. But if this summer is not good, and the manager choice is not good, and it looks like they're being penny pinching, that Burnley game, that's just going to be a regular occurrence every week. If they fail this year.
I hope so. I mean, that was such a big chance to really enforce some change, and I don't know if we'll ever get that momentum back. It'd be really interesting to see what happens next year if we don't get in the right manager, if we don't make the right signings, if that pressure does continue. Because you know what people are like, mate, especially when you have an off-season break. I'm the same. At the end of the season, you're sort of thinking, I can't wait for this season to end. But then
that optimism builds again.
That optimism starts building up, and you start thinking, yeah, this could be a really good season. And then it takes time to build up that sort of momentum again. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully, we won't even have to talk about it. Hopefully, we get the right man in. Hopefully, they put their hand in their pockets and get the players that we need, and we have a much better season. I mean, that's what we can all hope.
Yeah, I agree, mate. The board have got a massive summer ahead. Last few things on the season, mate. I just wanted us to sort of pick out a little bit of an awards thing, really. Goal of the season, I think it's pretty obvious, really, isn't it?
Pedro
Obiang. I don't know whether that actually won Match of the Day's goal of the season. It was in there.
It was nominated. I don't think it won though. But it was nominated. Incredible goal, fantastic goal,
absolute cracker of a goal. Yeah. The Three Hammers Hammer of the year. Obviously, Arnie won the Hammer of the year. But,
there's only two, and that's Arnautovic and Rice for me. Arnautovic, to be realistic, Arnautovic hands down. You know, he was, apart from the very beginning of the season, he's been incredible. He's pretty much carried us.
Great passion towards the end as well,
yeah,
to really get us through.
But massive props for Declan Rice. He's come on massively, and I'm sure you've said it before, mate. For me, that's it. He's a starter now. He's a regular in the first team.
No, definitely, mate. Mug of the year.
Mug of the year.
David Sullivan.
Well, yeah. If we're gonna go, not just the playing stuff. Well, yeah.
If I go playing stuff, mate, it'll probably be someone. I don't know, disgusting attitude. I think there's someone like with disgusting attitude. It'd probably be someone like Reece Oxford or someone like that.
Yeah. I would say I wasn't impressed with the likes of Antonio's. I know he hasn't played much, but there were a lot of shouts, a lot of whispers that he was kind of kicking off back behind the scenes. Carroll, like you say, walking out training.
A lot of those players, a lot of players have got
Masuaku for spitting, getting himself banned.
But he's been fantastic when he's played though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, last thing on this, mate. Hopes for next season. Just a quick sum up.
I just hope that, I mean, the biggest hope for me would be that the board go. Obviously, they're not going to. So now the biggest hope for me is that they've learnt their lessons. They've learnt their lessons, and they're gonna get things right. And that all starts by picking the right manager, and then backing that manager.
Yeah, with some good funds. Last few things before we talk about the big thing, the manager. Very sad to see Ginge go on Sunday. Really did look like that is his last game, didn't it? Obviously, Mark put the captain's armband on him. He was in absolute bits at the end of the game. For me, though, they should give him a testimonial at least. You know, if they're not going to give him a new contract, give the guy a proper goodbye to the West Ham fans. Give him a little testimonial.
Yeah,
great servant, fantastic servant.
That's a nice idea, mate. I like that idea. Yeah, I mean, Ginger's been fantastic in both his spells at the club. You know, he's West Ham through and through. And it was sad. It was nice to see him get that. It was nice to see him get them last few minutes, like say, got given the armband. It was nice to see, and he will be missed. I would have loved to have seen him be kept on in a coaching capacity myself.
I think you could have kept him one more year as you know, he's a backup centre half. You know, how often do West Ham run out of centre halves during the season? He's a good. He knows West Ham. Listen, he'll do a good job at any. If he ends up at somewhere like Cardiff or somewhere like that, he'll do a good job for any of them promoted clubs coming up. He really will. And I do wish him really good luck. You know, again, someone quoted it. I think it was West Ham Fan TV said if we had 11 James Collinses players with that sort of level of passion, we would be nowhere near where we are. Do you know what I mean? If they played with that level of passion. Other Hammers potentially playing their last game for West Ham. Mario. Again, big shame because I think he's the sort of player you'll see the best of him next year. He was really getting better and better. He looked like he's starting to get that sort of potential to have sort of. I think he could be a 10-goal midfielder. I really do. He's got that sort of ability. Obviously, Joe Hart played his last game now for us, and his career looks in absolute tatters.
Yeah, it really does.
Really does. Just one more, mate. Potential. I know we'll be absolutely devastated if there is any truth in it. Manuel Lanzini, did he play his last game for West Ham?
I hope not. I really hope not. I mean, I've said on this channel many times over the last couple of years, he is my favourite West Ham player. I love watching him play. He hasn't been at his best this season. I will say he hasn't had the best season, but that last game showing what he can do, showing the impact he can have. Obviously, he's going to the World Cup, it looks like, with Argentina. And he's just a fantastic player. He's just a player I love to watch play. And I'll be gutted. I mean, we're not going to keep him forever. He's going to go eventually. I'll be gutted when he does go. And if he does go, at least he give us a decent send-off with that last game. But I don't know. Part of me now is starting to think, again, this can all come down to the manager that we bring in. If we do show some ambition and we get in a what was it, a higher caliber manager that Sullivan's talking about, maybe he'll stay, maybe he will.
Yeah, it'll be a big shame if Manu does leave. Obviously there are links with Liverpool, but there are also rumours that Liverpool are a bit concerned about his injuries, and let's be fair, we're biased West Ham fans, but he can be very inconsistent. He, one day, like, he can have an absolute cracker like the Everton game. Another day he'll go missing and you won't see him. But again,
I think that comes down a lot to the players that surround him, though. I think if you put him into a midfield with better players, he will be more consistent. Do you know what I mean? That's probably true for the majority of footballers, to be fair. But we need to surround him with better players, and then we'll see the best out of him more regularly. In my opinion.
I think he's shown, like, basically what you're saying there, mate. Like, incredible partnership he had with Payet. Incredible partnership he seems to have built now with Arnie. There definitely was some linking up with Mario towards the end, all three of them. So, you know, like you say, mate, you put a good player in it. You put him in there with Sane, Salah, and Firmino. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be having a field day. But yeah, my fear on the Lanzini thing, it was mentioned on a few channels, is we sell the geezer for 60, let's say 50, 60 mil. That's our transfer budget then.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, mate, if we get anywhere near 50, 60 million for him, I'll be amazed. Not because I don't think he's worth it. I just don't think they'll get that kind of money for him. I reckon if a big come in for 30 million, he's gone.
Yeah. But then my fear is, like I say, mate, we'll talk a little bit more because of the managers in a minute, but there should be a transfer budget there for a new manager of about, let's say, 80 to 100 million, yeah? If we sold Lanzini, it should be 150 million.
Yeah.
But it won't be. It won't be. It will be 50 million plus 40 million. Or it may just be 50 million.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Let's hope that's not the case. But no, you're right. I can see that situation, and let's hope that we're wrong. And first of all, let's hope that he stays. But if they do cash in, that money needs to be put back in to the squad. And like you say, not just that, there needs to be, because you need to replace that player and then add on
what we need, because we need a lot.
If you think potentially Chicharito may go, I don't know how much you get for him. You might get 15 million for him. Reece Oxford, again, there's rumours that he probably will go. Might get 10 for him, potentially. So then you get that. You're looking at like £75 million you could potentially be having now. And if you have 100 million, 175 million is bloody massive transfer key. But again, we'd probably sell them for 75 million and just use 75 million. This is my fear. This is my fear. It really is. I think they would do that, though. I do believe they would do that.
I do. I mean,
have a zero net spend again.
Touching on managers that we're linked with, as I said today, the latest on Rafa seems to be that he said if he comes in, he wants 100 mil transfer budget, complete control over outgoings as well as incomings. And I reckon if we're going to get any decent name manager, they're all going to ask for that same thing pretty much.
Mil, yeah.
They're all going to ask for the same kind of thing. So I don't know, you have to think if they do manage to bring in a decent manager, that will help. That maybe will force their hand a bit and make them put their hand in their pocket. But I don't know, mate. I still think we're going to end up with Pardew.
Yeah. All right, let's go into it, mate. The big one. Managers. Loads of names linked, like you say, mate. Pardew's even got odds on Sky Bet, I think, for like 40 to 1.
40 to 1, yeah, worth a tenner.
Yeah. I had a little look at sort of the top 5 names in terms of Sky Bet and names that are going around. Like I say, you have got Rafa. He's got a 50% win percentage whole career. Pellegrini 50%. Marco Silva 52%. Fonseca 57%. And another one that because it was smitten of rumours today, Claudio Ranieri 45% win. Now, the best ever West Ham statistically, remember all those guys there are nearly sort of around that 50% mark, is obviously Sir Trev as caretaker, 64%. But the best, like in terms they've done 2 seasons, is Billy Bonds on 43.61. So if they were to get in any of those sort of boys, you know, they're looking at someone who could potentially go on and maybe break that record.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's sort of go through them. And we'll start with the one who's supposedly rejected us, Fonseca. Shakhtar boss, big win against Man City this year. I think that one was just a bit of like him playing a little game to get a bigger contract, in my opinion.
Probably, and I think that's going to be a big worry for a lot of those targets. I would say Rafa's probably doing the same thing at Newcastle. Pellegrini possibly as well, doing exactly the same thing. To get an offer from, I think it was Sevilla. But I mean, yeah, Rafa, he's won it all. He's got massive experience. His trophy cabinet, his reputation is fantastic. The only thing that worries me about Rafa, I'd love to see him come in, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I want Rafa. Yeah.
But the only thing that worries me about it is all the West Ham fans that are, over this season have been going on and slating Moyes, saying we want expansive, attacking football. That's not Rafa Benitez. That's not the type of football he plays. So hopefully, if he does come in, the fans ain't on his back about that straight away. But yeah, I'd love to see him come in. I would.
Yeah, I know my pal in work, who he's a massive Newcastle fan. He said he would be absolutely devastated if they lost Rafa, because it's not so much what he's done on the pitch, it's what he's done all around the club. Apparently the training, the bringing in the youngsters, just the whole ethos of the club has changed under Rafa. And you've got to think, this geezer has not been backed in the transfer windows. He's turned that Championship club and secured him a top 10 finish. So he sort of proved he can do it and not have to necessarily be at a big boy club to get that good position.
Sorry, I know before we slipped into that, I know you were saying about Fonseca. I have to say, before this week, didn't really know anything at all about him. Apart from obviously, yeah, exactly. Apart from obviously beating City, but he could be interesting, sort of up and coming sort of manager.
I think I would say, looking at, as you say, mate, our main targets there, you've got two brackets. You've got the likes of Rafa, you've got Pellegrini, you've got Ranieri, and then you've got the sort of upcoming exciting managers like Marco Silva and Fonseca. If we got, I will say as well, mate, one of the big favourites seems to be Emery. Apparently, he's even come over for an interview. I can't get my head around that. Why he would come to West Ham from PSG? I can't get my head around that. But if we got any of those names, I'll be delighted. I'll be happy.
Any of those top 5 names there, like that we've listed, it's a statement, and it's a statement of intent. You know, Pellegrini, again, he's right up there with the favourite. Obviously, Rafa's favourite at the minute in terms of betting odds. Pellegrini's second. Again, it seems like it's too much money though. He's on apparently ridiculous money over
like
there.
300 grand a week or something.
Yeah, would you really give that up? I know you might want to come back to Premier League, but would you give that up?
Well, apparently he does. Apparently he does want to come back. Whether he wants to come back to manage West Ham is a different question altogether. But I mean, I can understand like going over there, earning crazy money for a bit, putting that in the bank, and then you probably get bored. You know, you want to challenge yourself. But I don't know. As much as I would love, like I say, I would be happy with any of those managers. I can't see Sullivan pulling it off. I can't,
mate. I can't. Marco Silva, I think, will go to Everton. I think that sort of looks like it's more or less going to happen, that one as well. And then if you, like you say, mate, if you look just below that sort of list, then okay, so then you've got your Ranieris, your Ronald Koemans, your Pardew's. I don't know. I can see it being a little bit further down.
Yeah, it was a strange thing for the club to come out and say, for Sullivan to come out and say that 10 days statement, for him to say, oh, we want to have a manager, a higher caliber manager in the next 10 days. It's kind of a strange time frame to put on it, I thought. I don't know where that 10 days
I
come
thought that
from.
was weird. That would suggest that he's more or less got someone.
Yeah.
Or is that a bit of smoke and mirrors for Rafa in terms of, okay, we will pay it, but you've got to make that decision. I don't know. Like, is it, look, are you playing a game with Newcastle? Are you going to come? I don't know. You can read too deep into things sometimes. Couple of other names, mate. I'm just going to throw them out there. Arsene Wenger, would you take him?
In a heartbeat, mate. Of course. Absolutely. Yeah. Any West Ham fan who says they wouldn't take Arsene Wenger, I don't know what you're after. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. Would you?
Yeah. No, I would, mate. Yeah. You can't beat that experience, can you? Yeah, it might become a bit of a dinosaur at Arsenal, but, fresh new challenge at West Ham, bringing some dynamics. He definitely likes playing the kids. So, yeah, he probably could turn us right around. Who knows? Eddie Howe as well, again, but I think he's got bigger fish to fry. I think he's another one that could end up at Everton potentially.
It's interesting, funny enough, talking about him, because there has been a lot of talk about him again on the forums, and some of the stats are really interesting. So, like, they conceded more than us, scored less than us. Are they really that good? Would he really be that much of an upgrade? I don't know. It's an interesting one.
No, I don't know, mate. And then obviously one other that we've not mentioned, mate, the Fulham guy, Djukanovic. Again, if Fulham weren't to get promoted, maybe he's one they will look at. Again, that's more of a name that I see us getting, purely because I don't see them big boys coming. No. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of I'm worried about it. I'm worried that they won't get the right man in, but at the same time, it is exciting. It's exciting, like, oh, who's the new manager going to be?
and you always get your hopes. I do anyway. I always get my hopes up and think, oh, it's going to be someone amazing, and then they're going to get 150 million to spend, and we'll be flying next year. I don't know. I'm really interested. I'm really sort of looking forward to seeing what happens over the next couple of weeks, because they haven't got long to get this sorted.
No,
they really haven't.
Especially with the World Cup right on the horizon there. That kills the transfer window for 4 to 5 weeks as well.
The transfer window's open. It opened today.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. They're going to have a 4 to 5 week period where it's really difficult to sign players. And then anyone who is at the World Cup, and let's be fair, they're the decent players that you're probably going to be looking at. They're going to have like a couple of weeks holiday after the World Cup. Yeah. And that creates that time, it's a lot of time to get players in. Talking of players, before we go into the questions, mate, I know we've been going on a little while, so maybe another sort of 10 to 15 minutes. Teams that went down, Shaqiri, mate, all day long, yes?
Yeah.
£12 million release clause, good partnership with Arnie.
I wouldn't say he's a priority, but I would take him. I would take
12 million?
Him. Yeah.
Nothing in today's market, £12 million. Any others, mate? On teams going down, I see some rumours of, I think it was Pope, is it? The Burnley goalkeeper. I think he's Burnley goalkeeper. Linked, because obviously that is a position we might potentially have to look at. Jack Butland, I would look at as well, but he's probably going to go to Liverpool. Alfie Mawson from Swansea.
Mawson, Dawson, Chadley. I mean, there's
London, I'm a big fan of as well, West Brom.
There's a few decent names there.
Key's a great player, Swansea.
He's been quite heavily linked, but he turned us down, didn't he, in January? So whether he would want to come, again, this is also like, unless we get a manager in early who knows what they want. This is a thing as well. We're going to have to bring in a manager who hasn't worked with a squad, doesn't know the team, doesn't know the limitations, doesn't necessarily know what we need.
Another name, mate? I don't think he's actually been linked with us, but he's definitely linked to move away. Is Chris Smalling?
I've been saying for probably the last 2 seasons that I would take Chris Smalling. Yeah, he's like, I know Man United fans ain't particularly happy with him, but then Man United fans are fickle. Like, one week they can't stand a player, the next week they're the best player in the world.
Yeah, we're going to score a goal in the FA Cup final on Saturday.
So, but no, I would definitely take Smalling. Zuma, he's a big name who's sort of been floated around, who'd probably move on, who I would take. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players out there at the minute. There are a lot of players that could be available. And then obviously you've got the World Cup. There's always a couple of players that break through during the World Cup. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, assuming we get a manager in time and he gets given the funds to go after these kinds of players. Because that's the thing, the longer we leave it, obviously, these players are going to start getting snapped up.
No, that's it. Yeah, it's all about timing, Pellegrini comes in, gets Aguero on loan.
What about obviously another one who's leaving, Yaya Toure?
Yeah, that I did read that rumour as well. I know the geezer's 34, but surely no. I know it's that over the hill thing, but surely
he's a difficult one. I mean, the man is a born winner. He's a winner. He's a battler. He's one of those players. Like Zabaleta, basically, like maybe his legs ain't quite there anymore, but he's still got that mentality. He's still got that winning mentality. He's still a trier. So
I think he could have that. Ivan Campo, if you remember him when he was at Bolton, that sort of impact. He's just that really wise brain. Like, are you telling me? And I know you definitely wouldn't turn it down, mate. Telling me a 35-year-old Perlo, if you was offered him, you would turn that down?
Absolutely. Another one, again, I know, because a lot of fans saying, "Oh, we're signing over the all players already. We don't need more of them." But massive one today, mate. Not retiring, Gigi Buffon. Like, that would be that. See, if I've already said it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if it did, that would make me very happy.
I don't care that he's 40 years old. I told you that stat, mate, in the week. 50% clean sheets, whole career.
he's 40 years old, but for me, he's easily still in the top 3 goalkeepers in the world.
Yeah, looked after himself this whole time. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I know he's 40 and people are probably going to jump on us for that, but just to have that sort of guy around the club for a year.
I watched a few Juve games towards the end of the season, and so many pundits, ex-pros, ex-footballers were saying there's no need for him to retire. Oh. He can still do it. He can still play at that level. He's a world-class goalkeeper.
He is, mate. Okay. Some questions to end off with. Thank you, any guys that did send some questions in. I did put it out quite late, but we did get a few. I'm just going through here. Ken Alfred says, I thought we would have kept Moyes on for another year, rolling contract, give the club a bit of stability that the board have constantly gone on about. If we felt this was not working, then we could look for a replacement, but now we seem to be in limbo. No manager, no signing players. With this situation, I think it can only end bad at the moment.
Well, I think I don't necessarily agree, mate. I think that, first of all, rolling contract, no, that's not stability. You know, you either give him a 2-3 year contract or you sack him off. You don't go, oh well, we'll keep him on just in case, but we'll keep our eye on other managers. That's just going to create a bad atmosphere from the start.
Like it did with Slav.
Yeah, exactly. That's just not the way to go.
And Allardyce.
Yeah, you either back a manager or you sack him. You know, that's the way, in my opinion, it should be. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say I'm surprised they didn't keep him on. I'm not really. The thing is it wouldn't surprise me if they were going to keep him on and Moyes decided he didn't want it.
Yeah, because that's a nervousness I had a bit myself, mate, with the Moyes thing. I thought, is it that Moyes has turned it down because he's not going to get enough money for the transfer window? And then that's what was making me nervous in terms of these new managers coming in. Is it going to be we tried. But really, it's you're offering them £25 million transfer key.
Yeah.
Which is absolute peanuts.
That is a big fear, mate. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, especially the fact that, you know, just before it was announced that Moyes wasn't going to be kept on, Moyes was gone, it was all we'll sit down and talk next week. I think the day before, David Gold had come out and said he hopes Moyes stays. I definitely think it was a case of Moyes turning around and saying, nah, no thanks. And I can't blame him. You know, I think he's done enough to sort of rebuild his reputation a bit. I think he'll get another job easy enough. But like you say, mate, that is the worry. Was it because he wasn't going to get the funds needed to improve the squad?
It's the same with Rafa, mate. I know we both want Rafa. But again, I think it was someone on TalkSport summarised it really well. Is Rafa really going to jump out of the fire into a burning toaster? It's basically, isn't it? Like, you're not really jumping into a sort of nice, safer environment. You're probably jumping into an even bigger circus at West Ham, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that is my fear. And it's well publicised how much of a circus we are. It's not like they can hide this. It's very well publicised. Jamie Gill, who do you want as the new manager, and how many players and what players would you bring in? I know it's a long question, but there is so much to talk about right now. Keep going with the channel. Okay, new manager, Rafa Benitez for me. Definitely. That is who I want. Players in, like I say, I'd love Shaqiri. If the William Carvalho deal has any life still left in it, I would absolutely love him to come to West Ham. Need another striker. Need a goalkeeper. Need a right back.
For me, because I love, I don't know, I love the kind of I'm gonna call it the romance of the sort of unknown foreign names. So I mean, for me, if I could pick any of the managers that's been linked, that I think would possibly come, I would take Fonseca. As I said earlier on, I didn't really know anything about him at all before this week, but he seems to have a very good reputation in the game.
He works closely with Jorg Mendes, who's like super agent.
Super agent. Yeah.
Basically done wonders, like bringing players to Wolves. That's got them promoted. Yeah, they've got a lot more money than us, but I would love to see him come in with Mendes and see who they could bring to the club. I think that could be really exciting. It could be an absolute disaster and it could all go wrong, but it could be really, really exciting. So that's what I would go for.
Yeah. On that then, mate, what players need to leave?
For me, I mean, it's the same names that are always coming up. Carroll, definitely. I would get rid of Chiarte. I don't think he's been good for a while now. But I mean, to be honest,
would you get rid of Antonio?
I'd sell him if the right offer came in. It's weird. It's a weird one.
Sniffing if Hollah left.
If you'd have asked me that question 6 months ago, I would have said sell him. But because he hasn't been playing, he's kind of out of mind. You kind of your feelings sort of simmer down, sort of thing. So I don't know. See how he does under a new manager, I suppose, because he can be good.
Byram.
I mean, I suppose Byram, just because he's injured, doesn't really play enough games. I'd probably sell Cresswell, to be honest with you. Not Rice.
Sorry, not Rice. Don't take that back. Reece Oxford. Sorry, not Rice.
I wouldn't sell Reece. I would like Reece to stay. And this is going to contradict what we said in a previous podcast about he hasn't come on as we had hoped he would. But I would still like to see him stay and get another chance under a new manager.
Yeah.
To be honest, mate, there's not a massive amount of players that I would want to see go. There's only a couple, really.
But there's also not, for me personally, there's not a lot of players that I would be upset if they did leave.
No, that's true. That's fair.
Yeah. So, like you say, it's more of a, okay, if they stayed, fair enough. But if they left, I wouldn't be crying. As long as we keep Arnie, Lanzini, Rice. I actually put Masuaku in there as well because I really do like him. Apart from that, either way, do you know what I mean? In terms of whether they leave or not. Maybe even there's a lot of rumours. Would you be starting to think maybe shipping on Winston Reid in terms of the guy's too injured? I love the guy. You know, when the geezer's fit, fantastic.
Possibly. I'd be disappointed if we let Ogbonna go as well. I think he's a very good defender.
Ogbonna. I'd keep Oggs. Yeah. Next one, Lewis Johnny. How are the two hammers keeping? Very well.
The two. I like that. How are the two hammers?
Good joke.
How are we keeping? Yeah, we're keeping well, mate. Yeah. Busy.
I didn't want Moyes to stay, but my only concern is will another manager be able to cope with the big egos like Arnie? A top manager should be able to, but Moyes has been playing up to him. I can't see anyone else doing that. Maybe it will give him the ump. It's a good point.
It's a good point. But I mean, if you look at, again, the names that are linked, Rafa definitely, I think, could handle him. Pellegrini, definitely. They've worked with the best. Do you know what I mean? Ranieri would worry me, to be honest, because it seemed like he lost Leicester. The players didn't want to play for him towards the end. And then you've got the sort of up and comers.
I do apologise, mate.
The up and comers is a who knows sort of thing. But yeah, it's a good point. It's a good question, mate.
No, I agree. So another name that's been potentially linked, mate. Just I've seen this week, Balotelli. Yes or no?
Yeah, why not? It'd be a laugh, wouldn't it?
Well, him and Arnie are best mates apparently.
He's had a good season. He's had a good season.
Nantes, yeah.
And he's still only, what is he, 28?
Yeah, still a pup, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say a pup, but he's not as old as you think he is, basically.
Yeah. John Charles, hey lads, just a quickie. Have you thought about having changing the intro music for your podcast? I heard a song yesterday called Three Hammers by Dragon Force and thought how there is a section of that song that would be great as an intro. Let me know what you think, guys.
That's interesting, mate. Do you know what really winds me up, right? Is if you search for Three Hammers on YouTube, that Dragon Force song comes up.
before we do, and that winds me up. I don't like that. But yeah, maybe we should change the theme for the new season. I don't know. We'll have to have a think about that and have a look into it. I haven't heard the Dragon Force song, but I'm guessing it's probably quite heavy metal sort of thing. I have to say it's not really my kind of thing, but maybe that's something to think about. I'll tell you what, guys. What do you think? Give us your opinions. Do you think we need a change up of the music
for next season? Maybe.
Yeah, for next season. And if you've got any recommendations in the comments, let us know.
Yeah, and in terms of World Cup coverage, let me know what you'd like to see in terms of the channel.
Yeah, we'll keep the podcast going anyway.
Oh yeah, because mate, I think it's going to be a very, very busy podcast this year in terms of the off season. I think it's going to be news flying everywhere all the time. We've answered this already, but just purely because he's a pal in work. Paul Belcher, would you take Arsene Wenger? Yes. There we go. Let us know, guys, what you think as well in the comments, because that's a bit of a controversial one. That in terms of some people say yes, some people say no. Claret and Blue EastEnders from Instagram. What is mostly needed this summer? Good manager with £100 million to spend.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? That's what's mostly needed, and for Sullivan to take a step back, and whoever the manager is,
Karen Brady
get on with
drop
it.
her article. Yeah. Coley PNC. Are you going to get a season ticket this year, Luke? Well, Lee has one more year in Belarus. And then maybe. I'm not going to say a definite. I do miss it. I miss it massively. But, you know, this board need to show me what they're going to do. You know, I'll support West Ham thick and thin. I watch every single game online. I watch every single game every week. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make me a fake fan or a real fan, whether I'm there or not. Because otherwise I wouldn't be making this show talking about West Ham. Do you know what I mean? If I didn't really support them. But, yeah, they've got to show me what they're going to do, you know, in terms of going to see him. And that's not me not being a good fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, if you was in the country at the moment, would you be getting a season ticket?
It's a really good question, mate. The answer, if you'd have asked me any other time apart from right now, 100% yes, of course. Yeah, of course. If I was still in the country, I'd have a season ticket. There's no doubt about it. But the only thing is I hate Sullivan and I hate what the ball's doing to the club. And I'm in a position now where I do not want to put a single penny in their pockets.
Yeah, that is my position.
So, and it's a really difficult one because I've seen a lot of arguments on either side about this, and you get some people saying, I'm not going to let them take away my West Ham. I'm not going to let them stop me from doing something I love and going to see West Ham, and that's a fair point. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got, well, the only way to really make change is to stop putting money in their pockets and stop going. So I don't know. I can see both sides of the argument. It's a really difficult question, mate. It is a really difficult question.
It is. The Dead Reflection. Rice has been incredible this season. My question is, what youngsters would you like to make the step up to the first team next season? With Joe Hart off, I'd like to see more of Nathan Trott as a backup for Adrian. Great channel, guys. What is your opinion?
I have to say, mate, I actually wouldn't be averse to that. I would actually like to see. I've not seen any of Trott, but apparently he's very, very highly rated. Apparently he's well regarded in the youth setup. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him get a couple of early round sort of cup games and see how he does.
And obviously the big name around all the West Ham sort of fans, Gonzo's ex-West Ham employee, Nathan Holland is meant to be a bit of a player. So be nice to see him maybe get some pre-season games. Again, good manager like someone like Rafa, I keep mentioning him. He will see him, and if he does well, he will definitely play him. He's really bought on that guy at Newcastle, that Jordan Lascelles, or Lascelles, however you pronounce it. So someone like that, a good manager will develop him right. SB, what are your thoughts on jelly deals? Being from America, they look horrible, but a lot of people seem to like them. Is there an American dish you can think of that is similar?
Jelly deals are rank.
Oh,
sorry, I know we're EastEnders. We're EastEnders, and we're supposed to be like.
No, I like roll mops.
Roll mops are lovely. I pickled herring. It's not a jelly deal though.
But jelly deals.
Jelly deal, nah, not for me. I'm going to go against the grain as well and say I don't like pie and mash either.
Criminal.
So it is what it is, you know what I mean? I remember the first time I don't really like mashed potato regardless. Pie, I'll have a bit of pie. But then liquor, no, just don't do it for me. It just don't.
I was actually devastated. I took my daughter for her first pie mash a few months back in Basildon, and one bite threw up, and it was like, right, you're not my daughter anymore.
Good girl. No, for me, no, I'm not a fan of pie mash jelly deals. You know, I like a kebab, I like a curry, nice rib man burger at the stadium. But yeah, no, not for me. I don't really know any American foods apart from like McDonald's and KFC, to be honest. So I don't know.
No. Yeah, roll mops for me in terms of if we're going around that sort of fishy thing, which are lovely roll mops.
That's interesting. If he's American, he's probably got no idea what a roll mop is. See over here now, people don't know what a roll mop is. Like my wife said to her about roll mops, she had no idea what's a roll mop. But
they're very expensive now as well.
It's a pickled herring. They're lovely.
Yeah.
If you don't
know,
they
are going to be at my wedding. I'm going to get a nice big tub for them for my wedding.
Oh, there you go.
Go very quickly, I imagine. SB again. Who are the 2 signings you think we can make? I think that's a key word in the summer. I don't know.
I mean, probably the likes of Shaqiri,
Mawson. I can see Mawson potentially coming.
I don't know. It's again. It completely.
It's been quite light on terms of what names we're linked with at the minute. Again, it's only opened.
But again, that is
Sunday.
If you don't know who the manager's going to be, it's hard to know who they're going to be looking at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because again, you say, I'm going to mention his name again, Rafa. If you look at Rafa, then you might be thinking, do you know what? He might go and sniff around Shelby. He might go and sniff around that that Lascelles guy. So again, will he look at Liverpool and think, is there anyone hanging around their sort of backroom team that I can get? Or apparently got very good relationships at every club he's been to, Real Madrid, Chelsea. Give them a few calls. Can he bring some in? You know, that's how Kennedy went to Newcastle. He was Chelsea youth team, got loaned up to Newcastle, did wonders. Daniel, who are your dream and realistic choices for manager? So, dream manager, Pep Guardiola, please. Dream manager, I do want Rafa. I do.
My dream manager, right, in a dream world where everything works out perfect and he turns out to be the best manager in the world, would be Paolo.
Oh, well yeah. So, I did forget that. I do apologise. I forgot Paolo, yeah. Realistic?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, realistic for me.
Do you know a manager I think we might look at the next few years?
I would say Fonseca. I would say Fonseca or Silva, because I would like one of those upcoming sort of young managers.
A manager that we may look at in the next 4 to 5 years, doing a great job at Notts County, I have to say. And I know, West Ham have mixed feelings about this guy, but Kevin Nolan is doing a fantastic job there at Notts County,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've always said, I'm a big fan of Kevin Nolan. As much as he got slated at the end of his time at West Ham, as a player for his legs being gone, as a captain, he was fantastic.
Captain, I can imagine he's got incredibly good man management skills,
and
he's a leader.
Yeah,
he's definitely one. I can see him coming up the ladder soon in terms of jobs and definitely getting his chances. That is it for the questions, guys. Please, keep subscribing, drop your comments on, get them conversations going again that was happening, sort of 4 to 6 weeks ago before the internet disappeared out of my life and I was back to sort of 1996 when there was no internet. We will be back with podcast weekly again now, guys, and we'll be covering the World Cup and any news. I can obviously start filming any breaking news videos now and, covering as much as we can. We'll do a bit of a World Cup preview, in a couple of weeks' time. I do want to end the show with just one more thing, mate. That's how I want to end the show. You can see that picture there, guys. that's how I want to end the show. Yeah, there you go. Karma's a bitch, isn't it? Yeah, until next week, guys. That is episode 75. Come on, you irons. Keep believing. Let's go.
Cheers.